Hello all, welcome back to Shaving with Peg Leg. How you doing today? I'm doing fine. I hope you all are doing good. Shake out my brush. I'm gonna start mixing the soap. Nothing going on here with the storm. It's all big farce. I mean, you gotta take precautions because you just don't know where it's gonna hit. But it hits south of us and we're barely getting anything here. Like 30-mile-an-hour winds, gusts up to 40, less than normal afternoon rainstorm rains. Seriously, we've had more wind and rain in a regular afternoon rainstorm than with this. Except for this is just going to be prolonged. Our usual afternoon rainstorms last 20 minutes. This is going to go on all night till tomorrow. But nothing's really happening. Okay, well, today's soap will be in honor of Hurricane Ian, Chiseled Face Summer Storm. And I have their sample of the splash too. It's the scent notes on it are like Barrister and Man Petrichor and Diamond mixed. Like I've done that before, and I really like that mixed scent that they give. One is damp earth, and the other one is fresh cut grass. So this one is more about a wet grass than a cut grass, and damp earth. With damp earth being like forefront of everything. Pears soap for pre-shave, in case you didn't know. Just oof, that's it. Just oof. Well, I had a lot of soap in here, but now it's all in here. So let's see what we can get out of this. What we can get it to give back. It's a 28mm Maseto. It's Badger. Fake horn handle. But it's a big brush for a big dome. Okay, that's pretty good. And for razor today, we're going to use the ATX, the newer version. This is the older version. This is the original. And you can see it has two front wheels, and the newer version has one front wheel. So we're going to use this. First of all, we're going to do this. This little mini trimmer is coming in real handy for doing around my ears. Okay, see if that works. All right, here we go. My phone just did something strange. All right. September 28th, 1904. Do you know what happened? No? Well, do you know who Miss William P. Orr is? Mrs. William P. Orr. O-R-R. Orr. You don't know? She's the first woman arrested for smoking a cigarette on the street in New York City. She was riding in an open air car. You know, the old cars had the fold down tops. Like we call them convertibles now, but they didn't back then. They called them open air carriage. And she lit a cigarette while she was driving down, while she was riding in the car on Fifth Avenue in New York City. And a policeman, and reports vary on this, on whether he was on horseback or on bicycle. But he got up next to the car and he said, "Ma'am, you cannot do that on Fifth Avenue while I'm on patrol." And a lot of that is debatable what he said, since nobody can even agree on if he was on horseback or on bicycle. So his exact words are kind of up in the air. And but she did refuse. And he told her to put it out. And she did refuse to put it out. And she did get arrested for disobeying direct orders of a law enforcement officer. Because back in those days, women were not allowed to smoke in public. What they did in their own home was entirely up to them, but not in public. It's not to say that women didn't smoke, it's just that it was not allowed in public. It was against society norms to do it in public. Because Mrs. Jackson, Andrew Jackson, President Jackson's wife, what was her name? Harriet? I can't remember her name. I'm not going to flip through this whole thing looking for it. But it is said that during dinner parties at the White House that she threw, or they threw, she would light her pipe at the table when all the gentlemen were lighting their pipes, cigars, or rolling cigarettes, whatever. She would light her pipe and then commence to ask other female guests if they would like to try her pipe, and she would offer them the pipe. But that was in the privacy of their home. It wasn't out in public. In 1922, New York Alderman Peter McGinnis proposed a city ordinance that would prohibit women from smoking in hotels, restaurants, or other places. It was just against society norms. It wasn't illegal, and it was considered vulgar for a woman to smoke in public. But this is what he said: "Young fellows go into our restaurants to find women folks sucking cigarettes," the alderman argued. "What happens? The young fellows lose all respect for the woman, and the next thing you know, the young fellows, vampired by these smoking women, desert their homes, their wives and children, rob their employers, and even commit murder so they can get money to lavish on these smoking women." I guess men haven't changed since the 20s. Yes, it was definitely against societal rules for women to smoke in public. But things started to change a little bit once they got the right to vote. In 1920, when the Women's Suffrage Act became law, things started to change. This is a long one. I've tried to remember as much as I can, but my mind is Swiss cheese. You guys know that. All right. In 1914, a Washington Post editorial. There's a lot of quotes in here I want to read you because they're funnier than hell. In our times, they're funny. Back then, they were serious stuff. An editorial in 1914 in the Washington Post declared, A man may take out a woman who smokes for a good time, but he won't marry her, and if he does, he won't stay married long. It was Rachel Jackson, the wife of Andrew Jackson. Rachel. Alexander Duval, a Paris restaurateur, to smoke in public is always bad taste in a woman, he said in 1921. In private, she may be pardoned if she does it with sufficient elegance. Then World War I happened, and women found themselves in the workplace alongside men who smoked. And they started smoking more in public when they shouldn't have. I just found this very, very funny because if we're looking at it from 2022 point of view to the early 1900s and their point of view on things. And my, oh my, have we changed. There's a lot of funny in here. Hang on, I'll get to some more in just a minute. Let me get this pass done. But there's a lot of, okay, hang on, I'll get right there. Hang on. Working women in New York in the 20s would jump into cabs on their break to have a cigarette out of public view. And upper class female smokers in South Carolina would order their cigarettes through the mail so that the local tobacconists wouldn't know their nasty habit. Or their dirty secret, it says. Excuse me, not nasty habit. In 1920, Hugh S. Cumming, Surgeon General of the U.S., warned that cigarette habit indulged by women tends to cause nervousness and insomnia and ruins the complexion. This is one of the most evil influences in American life today. Well, they still complain about cigarette smoking, but they just went about it differently back then. A manager of a Manhattan hotel told a New York Times reporter, "I hate to see women smoking. Apart from the moral reason, they really don't know how to smoke. One woman smoking one cigarette at a dinner table will stir up more smoke than a whole table full of men smoking cigars. They don't seem to know what to do with the smoke, neither do they know how to hold their cigarettes properly, and they make a mess of the whole performance." Just women bashing at its finest back in the day. Some colleges banned smoking for women on their campus. And that even if they were caught smoking off campus, they'd get demerits, and 3 demerits, and you were expelled from college. In 1921, U.S. Representative Paul Johnson of Mississippi proposed a bill to make it illegal for female persons to smoke in any public place where 2 or more persons are gathered together. Regulating smoking by women comes under police power, and it is well known police powers are practically without limit. The bill never came to a vote, though. In 1928, the executive board of the Cleveland Boy Scouts recommended that scouts use their influence to discourage women from smoking. saying it coarsens women and distracts from the ideal of fine motherhood. Excuse me. I'm trying not to laugh, but I'm failing here. Sioux Falls, South Dakota banned billboards for having pictures of smoking women. And in Lynn, Massachusetts, they banned movies that showed women smoking. And then later in the later 20s, capitalism came to the rescue, and Philip Morris brought out a cigarette for women with the slogan "Mild as May." And the American Tobacco Company suggested smoking could make you thin, proclaiming, "You can't hide fat or clumsy ankles. When tempted by overindulgence, reach for a Lucky Strike." Which, there is some truth to that. It does curb eating. And then the public relations genius of the time, Edward Bernays, dreamed up a campaign that on the Easter parade on Fifth Avenue in New York City in 1929, he'd have young, attractive women smoke cigarettes and call them torches of freedom. According to the U.S. government estimate, the number of women between 18 and 20 years old who began smoking cigarettes tripled between 1911 and 1925, and more than tripled again from 1925 to 1939. Okay, Senator Joseph Bailey of Texas. This will be the last one I read about this. All right, this Senator Joseph Bailey of Texas said in 1918, if it were a question between their smoking and their voting, and they would promise to stay at home and smoke, I would say let them smoke. So no more voting, or 1918, that was 2 years before the suffrage act passed and women got the right to vote. He was saying, let the bitches smoke at home, keep them out of the voting booth. And he might have had a point. Anyways, it just shows how far we've come in 100 years. Now, smoking in general is poo-pooed by everybody. And everybody wants to ban cigarettes and everything. But you know what? Here's the problem with banning cigarettes, folks, and getting everybody to quit. Who's making up for those taxes? The U.S. government makes billions a year in taxes, millions a year in taxes on cigarettes. Where do they get that money from if they ban cigarettes? Open your wallet a little wider, fellas, because you'll be paying it. I saw something real funny the other day that said, oh, I can't remember the exact quote now, but it was along the lines of, if you don't know what a loan is, maybe college wasn't really for you. Talking about people wanting their college loans forgiven and they didn't have to pay them back. Well, if you don't have to pay back your college loans, who pays that money back? Oh, your working neighbor. I bet you he's going to love you even more. While you sit on the couch playing Xbox or PlayStation till 4 o'clock in the morning, and then all the next day hounding your mother to make you meatloaf. If you get that movie reference. Mom, make some meatloaf. Where's that meatloaf? Yeah. You know, because you went and got a degree in 16th century French art. You know, something totally freaking useless. So that, you know, you could work the drive-thru at McDonald's. And then you were upset because you weren't hired as the manager or the CEO of the company. And you're not making 300 grand a year. But yes, before women were allowed to vote, after they got the right to vote, it became more popular for women to smoke in public, and they did it more often. But prior to that, it was a societal taboo for women to smoke in public. It was a big no. And like I said, that woman got arrested in 1904. Mrs. Orr got arrested for smoking a cigarette in a car, not even walking on the street, in a car, but in public because it was an open air car and people could see her smoking. So that was taboo. I used to smoke cigarettes. I smoke cigars and pipes now. I don't touch cigarettes. And I strictly switched because pipes and cigars, those tobaccos are 100% tobacco. Cigarettes are probably half chemicals and half tobacco. Neither one's any good for you, but I'll go with my cigars and my pipe more than cigarettes now. But anyways. I thought, I got to that one part where it said South Carolina women would order, the upper class in South Carolina, would order their cigarettes through the mail call, get them delivered in the mail, as opposed to having, I'm not going to use the Allen block today, this doesn't get me, I had it here just in case, but it doesn't get me that where I need it. Just a little witch hazel. But they ordered it through the mail so that the local tobacconists didn't know their nasty secret. Need my glasses, hang on. I keep saying, put some frickin' hair around the hole and I'll find it. Alright. I'm going to put it in my hand. That was the sample of the aftershave for Summer Storm. See? Now my Johnson & Johnson I always use on my dome. It's still raining out there. I can still hear it raining. It's not raining hard. It's just raining. Nothing big going on at all here. This false alarm, totally. Like I said, we've had stronger summer storms in the afternoon. We had one 2 weeks ago that was a wind gust. They said on the weather report that the wind gust got to 82 miles an hour during that summer storm, which is higher than hurricane strength. The hurricane starts at 74 miles an hour for category 1. So was it category 2 at 82 miles an hour? Or is it still category 1? I can't remember. But yeah, that's the kind of winds we got for that summer storm. It just blew through and it came in and it was gone in like 25 minutes. And it was raining so flipping hard that if you were driving, you'd be doing like 5 miles an hour because windshield wipers wouldn't have done you any good. The rain was coming out of the sky so hard, I couldn't see across the street from my house, from my porch. It was just a sheer wall of water. And if you were in a car, your windshield wiper, you would have seen it moving across your windshield. But as soon as it went, it would have filled back in with water behind it. It was just that much of a deluge. It was just, the water was just, it was like standing in a waterfall. That's how much water was coming out of the sky. It was a solid wall of water from trying to look across the street. That's all I could see. And like I said, 82 mile driving winds too. So and it was like gone in 25 minutes. It wasn't that way the whole time. Maybe 7-8 minutes it was like that, and you know, it eased into it, and then boom, and then it eased out of it. But anyways, these work good for me. They're kind of fun, like being a kid when you used to roll the Hot Wheels through your hair and then get the hair wrapped up in the axle, and your mom had to cut your hair to get it unwound from the axle. Yeah, those were always fun times, weren't they? Alright guys, I appreciate you being here. Don't forget to check out the 4 links I will post in the description box. Check those guys out. Please subscribe if you're not. I want to try and get everybody over 1,000. Don't forget my affiliate link. It gets to $25. I'll buy a gift card to the razor company for $25. Give it back to you guys. I appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate all the new subscribers. Appreciate all you regulars. I'd appreciate it if you just checking the place out, if you hit that subscribe button. And guys, do me a favor, let's see if we can get like 15 upvotes, 15 thumbs up, or a combination of 15 up and or down. I don't care. You can do a down vote too. It doesn't matter. It just, up or down affects the algorithms and puts your feed out there so more people can see it. It doesn't matter if it's up or down. It really doesn't. Just up makes the uploader, the YouTuber feel better about himself, and that would be nice. All right, guys, I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Got a nice clean head shave today. We're doing good. Storm's missing me. I'm happy. So, with all that being said, we're done with the battling pack. I in the camera. You're in the chair next. Happy shaves out there, guys.